the filmmaker who made the Kashmir Files.
Genocide of Kashmiri Pandits. People who are against Article 370 are exactly the same. Now I believe women are dictating terms.
Oh, so I have with me today the filmmaker who made the Kashmir Files and who is now coming up with the Kashmir Files Unreported. It is a docu-series which we'll get to know what topics does it touch on that the Kashmir Files didn't. I have with me filmmaker Vivek Agnihotri here, who will tell us more about what the Kashmir Files Unreported is about.
Okay, so if the Kashmir Files was a visiting card, then this is your kundli.
Okay.
You know, this is your entire patri. You know, so because Kashmir Files was formatted in 2.5 hour, 2 hour 50 minutes film, and it was not possible to show all the stories in their raw, real form, you know, and it was a feature film format. So we weaved few stories together with one family. But then, like say, for example, the film opens when there is a cricket scene. Two young boys are playing cricket, and where this Muslim boy helps a Hindu boy.
Yes.
Where is it coming from? But it was a very simplistic scene, but there is so much drama behind that, so many stories. Once you hear those stories, you say, is it real? Is it possible in modern world? So like that. Film tackled with one story of Girija Devi where she is cut into a saw machine. But there are worse stories than that. So in Kashmir Unreported, this is number one. This is a docu-series about the genocide of Kashmiri Pandits only. It is not covering all the sides. I want to give this disclaimer so that people don't say, where is the other side of the story? There is no other side. The story is only about them.
Right.
Okay. Second thing is, this tells you everything honestly, truth in its raw form.
Right. You know, the Kashmir Files sort of got a lot of critical acclaim, commercial success, but it had its fair share of controversies, you know.
Yeah.
And some people sort of said that, you know, you've overlooked facts conveniently. And the Kashmir Files Unreported announcement came after sort of the controversy around that the film is a propaganda film erupted. When did you decide to make the Kashmir Files Unreported? Was this announcement a counter to say that, you know, it is not a propaganda film? Now I'm coming up with this and I will put the whole truth out.
See, first of all, I don't counter terrorism industry. Okay, I counter them with my film. So anybody who's calling it propaganda is somehow part of that terrorism industry, because these are exactly the same people who call it propaganda are the people who support terrorism in Kashmir. आप ये देखिए, people who call it propaganda and people who are against Article 370 are exactly the same. Anybody who supports Article 370 abrogation doesn't call it propaganda. Anybody who calls Article 370 abrogation fascism calls it propaganda. Now you decide what it is, number one. Second thing is, to put the record straight, when we started our journey, we started with Kashmir Unreported.
Okay.
But after we got all this data, we said, why not? There is a film over here. Why not convert it into a feature film? And so that it reaches wider audience, you know. Now, because Kashmir Files is successful, Kashmir Unreported will also reach much wider audience. Otherwise, it would have got lost, you know.
I want to ask you here is, while you were shooting this, now a lot of research has gone into, and which is why, you know, you're doing a 7-part episode docu-series. While you were shooting, what sort of challenges did you face? There's insurgency. There's also these Kashmiri Pandits who are not in Kashmir, who are like settled across the world. What kind of challenges did you face?
So, Mugdha, what happened? Number one, first challenge was how to make Kashmiri Pandit victims open up. Like, for example, I'll give you one example. The hero of Kashmir Files, Krishna Pandit, actually is a real boy. Okay, he's a real person. He lives near Chicago. Till the age of 18, okay, he didn't know that his parents were killed. He didn't know that his mother was, what happened to his mother. Okay, I don't even want to repeat it. She was raped and killed and thrown into a river.
It's spine-chilling, the details.
Yeah, and his father was killed, you know, but his nanny then looked after, raised him and told him, no, your parents had gone to Thailand and they had an accident and they died. So for a young child to accept it is very easy. It's only when he was 18 years, he discovered some paper cuttings in his nani's drawer or somewhere, and he figured it out. So he became the hero of Kashmir Files. Now the thing is, stories like this. So when he narrated his story, his wife has been his girlfriend since they were in 10th. So they knew each other for 20, 30 years. She never knew about it when he was giving interview to us after 2 days, when he opened and broke down finally. First he was avoiding it, but when he finally broke down, his wife heard that story for the first time.
Oh my God.
This is the extent to which Kashmiri Pandits were quiet. So we broke open that door and we somehow made an entry, and then they started trusting us. So this was the biggest challenge. Second is any Maulvi stands up and gives fatwa in your name and threatens you.
I have seen the trailer for the Kashmir Files Unreported, and there's a lady, Kashmiri Pandit lady, who says that, we were killed because we represented India.
Yeah.
Now that is hard hitting.
Yeah.
But do you think, Vivek sir, somewhere, how we represent India has sort of changed? Or how we expected to represent India has changed over the years?
Of course. See, the 2-3 things which have changed, and these are not subtle changes, these are very visible changes. Number one, when I was growing up, most of the country, the citizens, of course with lots of exceptions, or people who are professionally in politics and all, I'm not talking about them, but every youngster used to feel defeated and discouraged and disappointed. Okay. So we were a defeated, discouraged and disappointed society. And today what is happening is that we have gone into the next level. Today we have become a society which wants to de-learn. They have learned everything and they want to believe in India. Then they want to disrupt a narrative which has been going on that India can't do it. They want to disrupt that narrative. Girls like you, when I see you, I feel so great about India. Even my daughter, I feel so proud. In my time when I was growing up, it was very difficult for a woman journalist to have this kind of body language, which is so confident. I have seen women journalists generally with drooping shoulders, underconfident, not being able to ask questions, because that's how the society was. And every young person wanted to leave the country. But in last 10 years, I'm noticing that people are confident. They want to work in this country. They want to take this country forward. The narratives are changing. And it's a war of narratives which is taking a tectonic shift now. And I have a feeling it is changing from India can't do it to India can do it narrative.
Okay.
And this shift from India can't do it, India can do it, is so visible everywhere. Is so visible, and it is being made visible. I'll tell you why. Because of Indian women. Okay. And this is something which I keep talking all the time. People are not noticing. If India is changing, if India will change, it will change because the way suddenly Indian middle class families have invested in their daughters. Despite all the problems, you can call anything patriarchy, you can call anything, that doesn't matter. But ultimately, the most successful and the topmost CEOs in the finance sector are Indian women.
But we are still having to deal with patriarchy, rape culture,
victimization
of rape victims.
There will never ever come a day when the society can be rid of these things. It's impossible. It is impossible. These are human evils. इसीलिए तो hell or heaven की भाई कल्पना की गई है. अगर in last 5,000-7,000 years we could eradicate it, it's human nature. We are animals at some level. Some people, that's why it's very important to educate. Only when you will have educated women, they will educate their children and they will educate their children, then the society can get rid of these things. Okay. So patriarchy, you haven't seen the kind of patriarchy it used to be in 70s. Then it was lesser in 80s, lesser in 90s, and now it's not as much as it used to be, Now I believe women are dictating terms.
Oh, I'm glad.
My life is dictated by 2 women, my wife and my daughter.
So, I'm glad women are getting to do that. Men have dominated and sort of dictated for thousands of years.
Yeah.
So, what I want to also ask you is, now a lot of backlash came your way, when the Kashmir Files was released. And some of it sort of, do you think, is my question, do you think most of the backlash sort of alienated you from the industry?
I was anyway isolated from the industry, but this has made it more difficult. Actually, after Kashmir Files, my life has become more difficult, honestly. But I don't see backlash as any problem. I see it like there's a rock. There's a huge rock, and I'm like a wave of a sea, and the wave hits the rock, it breaks. Again, it forms, hits, it breaks. But if it keeps forming and hitting the rock, what happens? Rock becomes sand. Rock breaks ultimately. That's the power of water. So I look at myself as my craft like the power of a wave, which I'll have to hit the rock many, many, many times to break it.
But do you fear for your family, for your
Oh,
daughter?
yes. But before we started this journey, we checked with our children and they were great. They said, no, go ahead and do it. And only when my wife and I got assurance from our children, then we got committed to this. And without Pallavi, I wouldn't have been able to do it. Without my children, we wouldn't have been able to do that. But yes, the payoff is, payoff means
The takeaway.
the takeaway is that if you do something with conviction and honesty and sincerity, then it also gives great values to your children. And I'm seeing it now after 5 years, how they have grown up to become very good young citizens. But the biggest loss, personal loss to me, has been that I can't freely move around with my children, go out anywhere because of the security issues and all those.
Yes. Takeaway was my next question to you. What are you hoping to achieve through this? What is the audience's takeaway going to be?
See, it's already showing its result. If you see Yasin Malik, he used to be invited by prime ministers and he used to get all these awards everywhere. He was a very celebrated citizen of India. Now he's behind the bars, post Kashmir Files. And the government of India now NIA is appealing for capital punishment, which I'm against. I don't like capital punishment, but it's okay. He deserves it. He has killed so many people and young children and all those kind of things. Then the suo moto, Jammu and Kashmir High Court opened up the case of Air Force officers, and the Bitta Karate's case has also been opened up. So all these things are happening. Now all the thought leaders and intellectuals now are questioning why Supreme Court is not taking Kashmir's case. All the lot of thought leaders keep writing about it, which they never used to write about it. So it created awareness. Kashmir has become a regular reportage now. Every one killing and they report it like, okay, we should not be guilty of not reporting it. All these things are happened on that. Second thing is the healing of families.
Right.
For me, it doesn't matter what is happening outside. Let Yasin Malik be outside. I don't care about it. But the families which are hurt, they started healing after the family. They write emails to us, they call us, they send us messages. Girija Tikku, for example, their family sent me an email saying that after 32 years, we spoke about our sister. Okay, and our family is healing now. For me, that is most satisfying. That's the biggest payoff.
What sort of drives you to explore these? These are brutal topics. What sort of drives you to explore them? Box office success? No, I think. Is it just moral responsibility, artistic instinct? What is it?
No, Mukta, there comes a time in your life when you find the purpose. There comes a time in your life when you find the purpose of your life. And I think somewhere 8-10 years ago, I found the purpose of my life. Okay, and there is nothing new left in life which tempts me. So I cut off all my needs. I need nothing. I just work day and night. And this is my mission. I want to bring two kinds of stories in foreground. I want to correct historical narratives. And I also want to celebrate the greatness of our civilization.
Okay. You have sort of, Vivek, which actually you answered one of my questions where I wanted to ask you, when you sort of penned this note for the Kerala story makers, you had said that it is very difficult to make cinema in India, and you've been assaulted and attacked, and you even predicted that when the vaccine war comes out, these are the same people who've sort of taught you that cinema should be this and cinema should be that, will sort of again attack you. Is it in the current scenario, like given the scenario that is in the country, is it still difficult to make cinema like this?
Oh yeah, it's very difficult. Yeah. Definitely, it is very difficult. And difficult, I mean, if you want to follow the traditional system of filmmaking, it's impossible. Tell me something. Who would invest a penny in subject like the vaccine war. Nobody. No studio, no producer, nobody, no actor would work in a film like vaccine. Why should we work in a subject like vaccine war? Who will invest in it? So whatever money we earned from Kashmir Files, we invested in this.
Right.
This is our commitment.
Right. But you've also, every now and then, you take to social media to talk about Bollywood. How do you function differently from Bollywood?
First of all, we are independent. We are research based. We believe in writing. We believe that our audience is very intelligent. We don't care about star system. Okay, and we are making Indian stories. That's it. It's not very difficult. And these are exactly the things Bollywood is not doing. And it's like, मेरे को एक चीज आज तक समझ में नहीं आई. All these Bollywood stars, filmmakers, actresses, young actresses and all, they always keep criticizing the government and the system. It is very good to criticize the establishment. But I say first you criticize the establishment which gives you your bread and butter. You are blind to that establishment and you are challenging some other establishment which is not even in your control. Right? So I said, I must first challenge the ecosystem, the establishment which is next to me. And that's why I challenge
But
Bollywood.
do you hold a grudge against Bollywood? Some may say you do.
Let them say, but I have no grudge. Absolutely, absolutely no grudge. I want Bollywood to become better. It's like somebody criticizing the government doesn't have a grudge with the country. They just want the government to perform better. That's it. And why not challenge a corrupt system? I mean, why shouldn't we challenge a corrupt system? Bollywood is a very, very exploitative, corrupt system. It's a system which promotes mediocrity. It's a system which promotes negative nepotism, not positive nepotism. Negative nepotism, then it should be criticized.
Okay. You've also spoken about how certain genre of films like mythology, for instance, should be, one should, as a filmmaker, be careful about touching such topics. And for that matter, stars who are driven home drunk, as I'm quoting you, driven home drunk, sort of the next day come and say that I am God and people are not idiots to accept them as God. Now, as a filmmaker, how would you approach something of that sort when, if at all, you attempt?
See, first of all, I would personally not get into the area of mythology. Okay. If I have to treat Mahabharata, which I will definitely, now I'm pretty sure someday I'm destined to make it, I'll treat it like history. I'm not going to treat Mahabharata like mythology because in my mind it's not mythology.
One Mahabharata is in the making, by the way.
Who's making it?
Rajamouli.
अरे राजा मौली जी जब तक बनाएंगे तब तक तो मैं रिटायर भी हो चुका हूँगा. No, I love his work. I don't know if he's making officially or not. Even I don't know even I'm making officially or not.
Yeah.
Everybody talks about Mahabharata. But the thing is, the kind of Mahabharata everybody wants to make or Ramayana everybody wants to make, they want to spend a lot of money and huge. I'm not looking at that.
Right.
I want Mahabharata. See, what is the purpose of making Mahabharata? Purpose is because this is the most beautiful epic tale of dharma versus adharma. At every turn of the page, there is a lesson to be learned between dharma and adharma. So my film should convey that.
Right.
My film is not to glorify Arjun or Bhim and all those things. I know Bollywood thinking, they want to do that. I don't want to do that. I want the message of dharma and adharma to go. And to give that message, why should I waste unnecessarily hundreds and hundreds of crores? To do that spectacle, there are lots of people. You have Karan Johar to produce those kind of films. Why should I do that?
Okay, you don't approach them, but you come up with these very honest, very real subjects, and your approach is amazing because the kind of numbers, box office numbers is one parameter to decide success.
It's not a parameter.
There's critical success, and the way people are talking about the Kashmir Files, and now I'm hoping the same positive response is going to come for the Kashmir Files Unreported. It's amazing to see you do such work. With the vaccine war, are there any apprehensions? There's going to be controversy around it.
See, I have no apprehensions, but the only thing is I don't want, it's such a wonderful, such an important film, such a good film about, it celebrates the soul of Indian womanhood, the feminism of India. What is Indic feminism? and what makes it different from Western feminism, and the greatest scientific achievement ever, and which was made possible by our women, like our mothers and sisters. How it happened, I hope that film doesn't get lost, the main theme doesn't get lost in these political controversies, which are going to happen because I'm making it. Then they'll say it's propaganda. Because it's a positive news about India and election times are there. So they don't want anything positive about India right now. But that would be injustice to our mothers and sisters. That's why I'm so confused and very worried. I don't want such a... It's a tribute to my mother, to your mother, their sacrifice. Do you realize how much our mothers have sacrificed?
I do. I'm a mother myself.
You have not sacrificed as much as your mother must have sacrificed.
That's true.
But yes, Indian mothers are very different. A mother is a mother is a mother is a wrong statement. Indian mothers, because they always prefer to have inferior thing in order to give superior thing to their children.
Right.
And the kind of values which they give for so much of sacrifice, and they don't even care about their own physical comfort, their vanity.
Yeah.
The West cannot even imagine that a woman can live without vanity. But in India, our mothers sacrifice their youth, their ambitions, their aspirations, everything to create a product, okay, which has value addition, not valuation. You know, so this is a tribute to them. I hope these unemployed, stupid political people and the Bollywood type people do not, it should not get lost. That's my...
I'm hoping so. I'm hoping so. It's going to be a wonderful
film. I'm not saying it's going to do 100 crore, 200 crore. I'm not bothered about this. Very small.
I don't think even, I don't think that is something that you keep in mind while
No. But these people will do. What they will do is they'll say, "Arey, Kashmir File did this much business, this has not done." And they'll say, "Arey, Salaar did so much of business. Humne to pehle din 100
Is your film releasing with Salaar?
I don't know, maybe. I mean, it's Salaar and we are poles apart. Wo kahan raja hai, hum rank hain, wo Bhagwan, they are demigods. We are who? We are ordinary Indian citizens. But the thing is that they will compare, and I don't want this theme to get lost in that. Right. I pray to God.
My last question to you. The hint, I know you're going to be working on the Delhi Files. What is the Delhi Files going to be about?
Okay, Delhi Files is basically about the truth of partition and how the partition in India has not ended as yet. That's what the film is all about.
Looking forward to it, Vivek sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mukta.
Thank
Great
you so
talking
much.
to you.